Hey folks, Welsh Pixie here, and today I'm going to talk about a game called Starbound. The game isn't out yet. There are a bunch of images, screenshots from the game and concept art and stuff that's out. So I'm going to make a video out of those so you can see some pretty pictures while I talk about what Starbound is. All the information I'm discussing is released information, and I'll give you all the links you need to read up about it in the video description. So Starbound is a brand new game undergoing active development by Chucklefish. They're an indie game company made up of a lovely group of dudes and dudettes. Starbound is a story within a sandbox. So it begins with you fleeing your homeworld in a space shuttle just as it's destroyed by an unknown enemy. With nothing to guide it, the escape pod shoots into space without direction, becoming hopelessly lost in a sea of stars. As luck would have it, the space shuttle makes contact with an abandoned space station, and an adventure begins that'll take you hurtling across the universe. Starbound contains both quests and story-driven missions buried inside its vast sandbox universe. So the space station you land at is sprawling and full of potential. Throughout your travels, you'll find ways to upgrade and repair it, restoring it to its former glory. You'll need to find a crew, conduct research, catch rare creatures, and unlock its multitude of facilities. From a factory capable of producing mechs to labs where captured enemies can be studied and trained, the space station contains everything you need to explore the universe. Planets in Starbound are entirely procedurally generated and filled to the brim with unique content. We went into the planet generation with one simple goal, the devs say: no two planets should be the same. By procedurally generating even the smallest details, they're doing just that. Not only is the terrain of the planet procedurally generated, but the weather, the gravity, the difficulty level, the plant life, the behavior and the appearance of alien creatures, and much more, all contain random or procedurally generated elements. Now, the devs want the players to feel like explorers. Because they're working so hard to make each planet unique, they want to give us the tools to catalogue the things we find and make sure absolutely everything we find has depth in the world. Much like old-school point-and-click adventures, absolutely every object in the world, right down to the trees and flowers, can be examined for a description. See a weird alien tree? Examine it. Maybe you'll discover something about its use. For any explorer, sharing discoveries is important. So while the game is fully co-op, you can bring your friends along, form an expedition. You can also record your findings in an electronic logbook. Not only that, but each and every planet has unique coordinates in the universe that you can share online, so other players can check out exactly what you found. You can also create your own home in Starbound. When you claim a planet as your new homeworld, a whole new aspect of gameplay opens up. Everything that makes a planet unique is at your command. If you feel like changing the weather, you can build a weather center. If you don't like the terrain, you can terraform it. Every aspect of the planet is under your control. Once you're happy with it, you can start populating it with characters you've met in your travels and take care of them. They'll have needs and desires and won't hesitate to ask you for your help if they require assistance. So that's everything from the About page on the game's website. I'm going to switch now to a Curse interview. Ty. Ty is the project lead, I believe. And they asked him where's he drawn inspiration for the universe Starbound is set in. And his reply: the Starbound universe draws inspiration from a wide range of sources, but our goal in developing the game was for the players to always find something new every time they play. In that regard, some of the classic sci-fi out there really inspired us. The sense of wonder each week in Doctor Who, Star Trek, Stargate, where the heroes explore a brand new environment each week to unravel new mysteries, was something we really wanted to capture in the game. Next, Kirst asked, what's the overall goal of the game if there is one? And his reply is, Starbound will include an engrossing story that has the player travelling throughout the universe to combat the force that destroyed the player's homeworld. But gameplay isn't done when this quest is complete. The player has the option of setting up and managing a new homeworld, populating it, and carrying out random quests and tasks to ensure its safety. One of the things he set out to do with Starbound is to ensure the game never gets old. With a lot of modern games, it seems as if you can read a wiki and know everything, and Ty hopes that's impossible here. Kirst then asked, is the game relatively linear, or can main quests and storyline be put on hold indefinitely for other goals? And he says, whilst the game contains a linear quest line, it can indeed be put on hold for the player to explore. The entire universe is an endless sandbox. They're including enough procedurally generated content that players will never run out of things to do, even if they choose to never explore the main quest line. They also know that communities pop up around multiplayer servers, and they are doing everything they can to facilitate that. They are even considering adding a feature that lets players leave messages for each other in the form of holograms, which sounds very cool. And Chris asked, do you have any interesting statistics for us, such as the number of items so far, monster types, or anything else you'd be willing to divulge? And Ty says, where to start? Items in Starbound are procedurally generated, so there are a vast number of items in the game. To give you an idea of the scale we're talking about, visually there are currently 21,000 combinations of rocket launcher. Stats-wise, there are millions. This procedural generation not only changes the way the gun works completely, but it changes the look of the gun too, so you may never find the same weapon twice. Kirsten asked, how will players interact with each other? Will multiplayer be a huge focus of the game? And Ty says, multiplayer is going to be an absolutely massive part of the game. The entire world is available in co-op play, as well as competitive combat planets being available for PvP. Synergy between teammates is going to be an important part of the gameplay, with healing, protection items, and the ability to revive each other. They're encouraging players to work together every step of the way. They know that players love to build communities around their servers, and they're adding a ton of features to make sure they can do that. Server owners will be able to decide if players need to make a new character to join their server, or if they're able to bring their existing characters online. And then Kirst asked Ty, what's his absolute favourite feature so far? And he says it's the planet generation. It's so exciting to be able to jump into the game and always be able to explore somewhere new. It just never gets old. One of the smaller features I really like, he says, is the ability to capture and train monsters. Any monster can be captured once it's low on health and then called into battle where it will fight for you. Defeating enough enemies will cause your captured creature to become more powerful, and it's fun to pit your creature against friends. And Kurs asked about alpha or beta sessions. Ty says they're still discussing the idea of beta sessions. They want to be as transparent about development as possible, and they know players love to see their input make it into the final product. And Ty has recently said on Twitter that if/when they get around to getting beta testers for the game, they'll be chosen from people who are active in the community early on. So go ahead and join the forums. Kurs asked, will updates continue after release? And Ty says yes. They plan to make sure there's a dedicated team, including himself, updating the game for years after release. The great thing about updating Starbound is the way all of the content is used procedurally. Even adding just a handful of content becomes a vast amount once it's fed into the procedural system. So that's the gist of Starbound. There are 2 more articles you can read. They're linked in the video description. One of them is a Q&A with the devs, where the community asked them a bunch of questions over IRC, so there's a little more insight into the game there. And the other one is a Q&A with one of the game testers, who's been playing the game for a little while. So they are in the video description. I've also linked the main website in the description and the forums. I'm an admin on the forums. I manage the community over there, so come over, sign up and say hi, and keep up with the game. Thank you for watching. Bye!